Welcome to the Radiant Studios and TV, where life-changing testimonies, sermons, and teachings are all summed up here. Today we have a very powerful man of God, with a life-changing story. I bet you don't want to miss this. Yes, we'll go straight to the introduction. With me here, I have the blessed man of God. He will state his name and his identities, his position in the church. Yes, Apostle.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you, my brother, for welcoming me.
Welcome.
And thank you for hosting me.
Welcome very much to Radiant Studios.
Pleasure.
Yes. Kindly, with that camera, you can give us a brief introduction of who you are, and we'll continue from there. Brief introduction, please.
Oh, thank you so very much.
Yes.
My name is Apostle Frank, a born-again Christian, serving under my able father and spiritual father, Prophet Caleb Wekesa from Spirit Life Ministries in Nairobi, located in Utawala along the Great Eastern Bypass. And just to make it short, I'm a born-again Christian, married to only one wife, with 3 children. And above it all, I love Jesus because he is my Lord and personal Savior. Without this Jesus, I don't know where I could have been. But I thank him for fighting for me. You know, they say that God will fight for us. According to the book of Genesis 14:14, what we need to is to be still and believe in him. So we can never fight for God. God fights for us. So with that, I think I'm done.
Wow.
God bless you.
Wow. As you've just heard, that was a very powerful and very brief introduction. I'll go straight to the first question.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Where did you grow up, and what was your family life like?
First of all, I grew up in Kenya. I was born in Kenya.
Yes.
Born of my late father, Mzee Christopher and Mrs. Caroline. They both died, but I survived by the grace of God. And life has not been so easy as a child. Growing up without a father and a mother, it is something, oh man, I don't want to go there. So it was a challenging thing. I became a father. I became a mentor and a parent to my young siblings. Seeing them grow up and going to school was not easy. But above it all, God has been able to guide me through and help me by the aid of other friends and people who are close to me.
Wow. So were you raised in a Christian home? And if so, maybe how was your faith in the early life?
To be sincere enough and tell you, we used to go to church.
Mm-hmm.
We used to go to church. But we never had anyone in our family who had a position in the church.
Oh.
Like having something like a merry-go-round or this thing they call chama.
Mm-hmm.
My father knew God, but he only knew God when he's drunk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He only knew God when he's drunk. He could tell you Bible stories and everything. But through that, I learned something. That a drunkard can tell you the truth. There is only one man who knows God. A young kid, a drunkard, and you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Those are the 3 people who knows God very well. Yeah. So myself coming to this place, knowing Christ and following him, it was quite a journey.
Wow.
Yes.
So maybe we are just on the early education and your part-time interest when you are still young. So maybe what were your interests and passions when you were growing up? Did you always wish to become a pastor in the future, or you had some other plans before you met your calling?
Actually, it was quite challenging. You know, that question just caught me.
Uh-huh.
I remember when I was still young, I think I was in standard 8, yet to write my KCPE education, my final examination of final year in primary school.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I had an attack and we went to a certain prophet of God. And he said that I have a great calling. And I remember this guy saying that I will be a pastor. And you know, as a child, you know, you saw people growing up and saying, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? You see people saying that, you know, a man of God has to have only one wife.
Yeah.
And by that time, you know, we were in the peer pressure and we were in adolescence. And I could say, how can I be a pastor and all these women are so many? Who will I leave these women for?
Yeah.
And you know, as they say,
Mm.
a pastor is only to have one wife, as per the Bible,
Yeah.
or as per the teachings. You know, it was a challenge, quite a challenge. I never took those words so seriously until when I met a cousin of mine who said that I want to be like my uncle. There is an uncle of mine back at home in Webuye,
Yes.
who said that who used to bring women in and out, could change women within a day, like 4 women. And this boy could say that I want to be like him. And I remember there is a certain man of God from America by the name Bob Boyd, who came to Webuye to minister. And I really admire that guy. And I said, when I grow up, I want to be like that man. I want to serve God. And speaking the truth today, I hold the microphone. I speak to people all over the world.
Yeah.
And the guy who said that he wanted to be like my uncle, who was a womanizer, today he has 7 women or 7 wives, plus quite a number of kids. So it is something that just came into me.
Wow.
It was a challenge. I decided to challenge myself because in my family there is no pastor. There is no man who knows God as I do.
Yes. Wow. So maybe to ask this,
Yes.
how did you feel your calling, or what made you realize that I was really called to be a man of God? What confirmed that calling?
The confirmation of my calling, it was back in the year 2018, before the COVID-19, when God spoke to me about my wife. I was sleeping and I had a dream. Well, get my wife.
Wow.
And God told me in my dream that go to a certain building in town, Nairobi town. So I had to go there and find my wife. And I found the direction as well. I had to look for this woman and I got her. So it was something that was there. Then I knew very well that there's a calling of God in me. Then to confirm it so clearly, when I met my spiritual father, Prophet Caleb, he told me that you have a calling and you carry the spirit, the apostolic grace. So when he mentored me and told me that for you to know that God has called you, even your prayer life is going to change. He even taught me how to pray. And I never knew that when I prayed, things could happen. I could prophesy to my wife and my children in the house, and things could happen. So that's when I realized that it is. And then this great man of God, who is my general, gave me some Bible scriptures, the prophetic Bible scriptures, and I went through them and I prayed, only to realize that it is so easy as ABCD to know God. So that's how it has been.
Wow. Wow. Very, very powerful. So, what was your first ministry role? And maybe how has it helped you in reaching this point where you are right now? What was your first role in church after you've been called? You know, you always feel the call, but you can't go straight ahead to pastor a church. There's always those roles you play in a church.
Giving.
So maybe, what was the
Giving.
Giving.
Giving has been something that has motivated me.
Wow.
Anytime I give, I feel like I've done something for God. I even feel I'm at peace. My heart is settled. Anytime I don't give, I feel the burden. Anytime God calls me to help somebody, I feel like if I don't do this, there is something I'm not doing right. So anytime I give, I see myself closer to the kingdom of God. So that's what makes me know very well that I had a calling. And that was my assignment.
Wow, very, very, very powerful. That's just how the callings and how the ministry began for Apostle Frank. Yes, we are going now to the journey and challenges of ministry life. You know, there is no journey that doesn't have its ups and downs.
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe what has been the most challenging season in your ministry and how did you overcome it?
Denial. You know, let me tell you something. When you have the calling of God, one thing that you must accept: if Jesus was denied, why are you not to be denied? If Jesus was rejected and he is the Son of God,
why you
Jesus was a spirit, he was denied and rejected by his own people. Well, who is me? So the most challenging thing, child of God, that I've gone through, it is denial. Anytime God wanted to uplift me, I faced a lot of challenges. Not only in the ministry, but also in my family. I could have fights, ups and downs with my wife. No communication, no agreement. We could fight. There was a lot of friction. So anytime I see that, I know that it's God. But let me tell you something. The Bible clearly says that if you have a calling of God and there is no challenge, You have not gone through anything. You have not been denied, or people have not spoken anything against you. You need to pinch yourself and ask God, is this clear, truly your calling, or I call myself? You must be fought. You must be denied. You must be rejected. I was fought by even my fellow pastors in church. They fought me. They never wanted me to hold that position. They thought that like my spiritual father is favoring me. They never knew it is a calling of God. And one thing you'll be fought in a church, be ready to be fought. If you carry and have a true calling of God, be ready to be fought. Be ready for the battles. You must fight and overcome them. And you asked about how I overcame. Overcoming them, I simply prayed. I simply prayed and I read the Bible. When you read the Bible, it has every answers to the questions that you ask, because God has placed there the answers. So the moment I went to read the Bible, I was reading about this guy called Job. When Job went through a lot of things, the devil took everything from him, trying him. He took everything, and Job knew one thing, that God is the only thing. God is everything that he has. No matter what the devil does, no matter what the devil takes, God is still the everything. So I knelt down on my knees and I looked up in the sky and told God, I'm your own. And that's how I overcame them. I just decided to walk with God, and God helped me.
Very, very, very powerful.
Yes.
Yes, maybe another question to ask.
Yes.
How has your ministry been, and how has it evolved over the years, and what have been the key lessons you've learned? Maybe to start with how the ministry is and how it has evolved. Yes.
One thing I can say is that my ministry, as it is now, it is by the grace of God. You know, anytime you put God first, if you clearly read the book of Proverbs chapter 3 verses 6, the Bible clearly says, have God front you, then he will align your path and the ways. So I decided to read the Bible, and I said, if I go by myself, I might not reach the destination. So if I allow God to go before me, he will make the way and the path the right way as I want. So as my ministry to grow, I decided to let God. That's what I did.
Yes, and maybe what have been the key lessons that you have learned during your time in ministry?
The lessons are so many. What I learned in the ministry. Let me tell you, child of God, in the ministry, don't allow yourself to hold God, but allow God to hold you. Why am I saying this? If you hold God and anything happens, you will leave God and run. But if you allow God to hold you, if anything happens, God will never leave you, but he will protect you. That's what I learned in the ministry. And being faithful to what you say. Be yourself. Don't fake anything. God never fakes. My God is not a fake God. You can never fake. About this God, you can never fake. Let me tell you, there is something you people don't understand. You know, some people say that man of God is fake, this one is fake. Show us the original. Come and show us the original. God is never fake. Look at this. When they say that Saul wanted to kill David, if you read clearly in the Bible, he looked at every avenues to kill David, but never got even one. But when David found a single chance to kill Saul, he never did. But he took a piece of cloth and told him, if I was to kill you, I would have killed you. What does that mean? There is more in men of God. So if you call that man of God that is fake, there is something that God is using in that man to pass to people.
Yeah, true.
You never got me. There is something that God is using into this man. Remember, he is not called God man. He is called man of God. He's not man of man. He's a man of God. It means there is something that God has instilled in this man. There is more in him.
Wow, very, very deep.
Yes.
Very, very deep. Yes, maybe to ask this, Can you share a memorable moment where you saw God working powerfully in your ministry?
There are so many instances. I remember very well. It was early this year. I was on TikTok Live and I was ministering to a certain lady in the United States of America. And this lady had arthritis. No, not arthritis. She had cancer. She had gone for chemotherapy and this thing that they insert you in a machine and come out. Her hands were black everywhere. And I said, I want to pray with you. She turned on her video. And I said 3 words. I did not pray. I say, by the blood of Jesus shed at the Calvary, I decree right now to you, may your life change. May you receive the salt of life into your life, into your body. And immediately, I'm telling you, immediately, the body of that lady changed. This lady, remember, could not go out. She could not face sunlight. She could not bask because of the rays of that chemo. I'm telling you the truth. The same day, same minute, same hour, this lady went out in the sun and said, I will forever praise God.
Wow. Wow. Very, very powerful. Yes, before we continue, I'd like us to take a short commercial break. We'll be back shortly to continue with this. There's more from the man of God. Kindly stay tuned. If you want to stay inspired, if you want to stay motivated, you want to build your faith, stay tuned on Radiant Television. You can follow us on Radiant Studios. Follow us on all socials: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, X or Twitter. Follow us on all those social medias at Radiant Studios for all your solutions to get built in faith, to get your spirit built by through powerful sermons. We'll be hosting men of God. We'll be hosting teachings. I see you. Welcome back. We are just continuing from where we stopped. The man of God here has been giving us some testimonies on what was going on and what inspired in his services, in his ministry. He was telling us about the cancer, the woman with the cancer.
My friend,
Yes.
let me tell you something. Cancer is not a joke.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear someone suffering from cancer, it is not a
Cancer
joke.
is one of the deadly.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I remember very well back in the year 2015, my mother was diagnosed with cancer. She was crying like a baby. She used to cry like a young child. It's so painful. And when I was praying for this lady back in the United States of America, this lady could cry. I thought it was a kid crying, and I could ask, who is that child crying? And the mother could tell me, it is me. It is me. It is me. My friend, I saw. And for you to heal someone with cancer, let me tell you in the ministry, for you to heal someone with cancer, you must feel the pain in your spirit for you to heal. If you don't feel the pain in you, you can never heal.
Wow.
You must feel sorry for the person.
You're teaching.
You're not getting.
I'm
You
getting
must
you, sir.
always feel the pain of the person for you to heal.
You must.
I know very well it's not me healing, the grace of God in me that healeth. What does the Bible say? Greater in me. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. Now, he that is in me is a spirit of healing. Now, he that is in the world is a spirit of cancer. So now, he that is in me is greater than the cancer.
Wow.
So that's how it happened.
Wow.
You know, you can never limit this God. You know, the Bible clearly says that by the mention of the name Jesus, every knee shall bow. So, if you mention, child of God, if you're going through something and you mention the name of God, even that cancer is not cancer until it is given the name cancer.
Wow. Very, very powerful.
If it is not with the name cancer, that is not cancer. So if you take that cancer and give it God, then it's life. Yeah.
Wow. Apostle, I feel like I've just limited you to give us that one testimony. Do you have another maybe testimony? Somebody is thinking maybe cancer is not my situation. Maybe what else has the Lord used you to do or to heal or to touch that transformed somebody's life?
Believing.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe, even when Jesus was praying for people, he asked them, do you believe? Remember the story of Lazarus.
Yeah.
When the sisters came to Jesus, according to the book of John 11, from John chapter 11, from verses 1, what does the Bible say? It says, when the sister Martha and Mary went to see Jesus and told him that your friend is dead, what did Jesus say? He said he will be resurrected. And the sister said, what did they say? I remember when they said that when the time of resurrection comes, he will surely, forgetting that the life and resurrection is the one speaking to them. And Jesus asked them, do you believe that your brother will be back to life again? What did Jesus say? Do you believe? So you can never do anything without believing. So for me to pray for you, you must also believe.
Oh. Believing.
Believing. That is the thing. Number 2, you must always have faith. What does the Bible say? The Bible clearly says that faith is a thing we hope for things we do not see.
Mm-hmm.
That is faith. Now you're hoping for something that you do not see. You gain faith. So that is it. So for me to pray for you and you be healed, it is not me. So God will look at your spirit if it is ready to receive the healing.
Believing.
And you to receive it is about believing. Even my father in church comes and say, do you believe that God is going to change your life today? And if you say, yes, I believe, it means now you've opened your heart and your spirit to receive the healing.
Wow, very powerful. Maybe to ask, Apostle, you have your online services on TikTok, which is a very, very, very diverse platform.
Yes.
Yes. Maybe how is your approach to preaching to these different races, different people from different places, this diverse congregation? How do you approach preaching to them?
One thing I can tell you is that it is not easy, especially for someone to believe in you. More so you come from Africa. And most people believe that in Africa people use juju. And our skin is our own opposition. It gives us an own goal.
Yeah.
And remember very well, they believe that most con men in the ministry come from Africa. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
I get
now, for you to even ask for an offering online, it becomes a problem. People come and say you're a con man. But it has taken the grace of God for us to be where we are. Number one thing is honor.
Honor.
If you honor God, that's the first thing. God will announce you everywhere. If you don't honor God, you can never be announced. If you go by yourself, you will never see anything. You will go online, tell them tap, 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 and share. You will be telling yourself. I remember very well when I was starting this TikTok journey, I used to be with my wife alone, just the two of us. And it grew. It came to grow slowly, slowly. Right now, I have members from all over the world. And I remember very well my father used to tell me that you will be heard from people from different parts of the world. So I never took that for granted because he's a prophet. Now, speaking of the prophet, if you honor your spiritual authority, he will cover you. Anytime he goes to pray, he's praying for you and he's praying for your ministry. Because in the ministry, you can never walk alone. Jesus needed someone to help him carry the cross. You can never walk alone. You need someone to hold your hand and move. Because, why am I saying this? He is so mature enough to guide you. Now, if I say that I'm going to go by myself, have you ever seen a kid leading a kid?
Never.
You need to find a father figure to guide a kid. It's just like in our tradition, circumcision back in Western Kenya. When you have been circumcised, they will call some villagers or elders to come and guide you. They can never call your age mate. So you need to honor them for them to give you direction. So it is by the direction of my father, Prophet Caleb, that made me whom I am, because he carries the grace. And it's under his grace or through his grace that I'm operating today. Even the healing. sometimes when I pray for someone who is sick, he will tell me, son, I feel weak. Are you praying for a sick man? Because I feel some power leaving me. So it means I'm using his grace as a spiritual authority. Yes, I tap into the grace. Number 2, giving. I give a lot. I remember I used to give until my wife would ask me, why are you giving and yet our child is not in school? You take everything to church, and I know very well, if I give, God will announce me. Anytime before I go online, I have to give. Even if I'm going to do the prophetic service, I give unto him. The word that he will speak is enough. A word is enough. What did the servant come to Jesus and say? Just speak a word, and my master will be okay. Will be okay. Now, just a word. When he speaks a word, I don't have to come and shake his hand and say, hey, yo, bro. No. Whenever he will speak, they say the Spirit of God is not limited, is diverse. So it is everywhere. So the moment he will speak, it will get into me and you'll be healed.
Wow, very, very powerful. Do you think of receiving these prophecies and being given word of prophecies?
Let me tell you, child of God, let me tell you, everybody is a prophet. And I will explain what does it mean that everybody is a prophet. For example, before you put on this shirt, you did not just wake up and say that I'm going to put in on this. Something told you in the morning. You heard a voice telling you you need to wear that shirt. And for you putting on this is so prophetic with color.
I see they have matched with
you are in the spirit.
Yeah.
So it is something very prophetic. Now, for me to prophesy to you, okay, child of God, let me teach you something about prophetic. How to dwell in the prophetic realm. For me to prophesy to you, or for the grace of God to reveal a lot to me about you, I have to be in you. I have to be in you. So that when I be in you, my spirit comes into you. Now it will be you speaking about you. That is prophetic. No, wow. I know you're lost.
Come again.
I want to prophesy to you.
Yes.
I will not just capture anything. I will say in the realm of the spirit.
Yeah.
I see. Now it will be you speaking about you. My spirit comes into you. Now you start revealing yourself.
Oh wow.
Now this spirit will take you back and take you even forward. Many years you'll be speaking about your lineage, even those that you never saw, even your great grandfather never saw, but you'll see them, because in the realm of the spirit things move so very fast. Do you know that you're not even a day old in the realm of the spirit? You're not even old. Things move so very fast in the realm of the spirit, very fast. And that's when you see in the spirit, you see things moving like within a second. You have seen 1 million things. How can you bring them?
And how are people receiving this prophecy? Because you are a very anointed man of God and you are very sharp in the prophetic. Yes, how are people receiving the prophecies are giving them? How is the reception of people?
Let me tell you something. Sometimes you can be in the mood, or you can have the grace to prophesy, but the audience is not ready. So it means you are limited. You become so limited. You cannot prophesy. How people receive the word is how it will manifest. For example, I can be prophesying to you and you're just looking at me. You know, you need to provoke my spirit for me to prophesy. You need to provoke the prophetic in me. Like, for example, when I go to my church, when my father, Prophet Caleb, is prophesying, I will give a seed and tap on the feet or put it on his feet. He will be moved to prophesy even more. He will be opened. You see? But if I tell you and you're looking at me or you're pocketing, you know, you are trying to lock something. So how you receive a prophetic word matters. Because some people say that this man of God is fake. He's not fake. The prophetic word is not fake. Remember, God can never lie. A prophetic word is a true word from God. Remember the book of the book of Amos 3:7, the Bible clearly says that surely God will do nothing but reveal his secrets to his servants, the prophets. Why not you? Why not them that are looking at me? his servants. So it means a prophet is a very important person that you need to honor.
Yeah. Very, very, very revealing. If you've heard it, you've heard it. Yes, maybe some few last questions. Apostle,
Yes, sir.
what is your vision for the future of your ministry and the church in general?
My vision.
Yes.
My vision is to have a global-wise ministry, changing lives, putting smiles on people's faces, not only in preaching and spreading the gospel, but also feeding. Let me tell you, calling and the ministry is not only holding the Bible and the microphone. Ministry is also helping the needy, putting a smile on those who are living in the streets. Sometimes we forget them. But anytime you see that man sleeping in the street, homeless, give him shelter. That is a ministry. If you see a hungry, give him food. Feed him. That is a ministry. If you see those people who have lost direction, give them direction. Follow Christ.
That's ministry.
That's a ministry. Now, we are so limited in the word ministry being in church. Ministry is not all about the church. It is also about what you do to people. Jesus was never in church. Tell me, in how many occasions did you see Jesus in church preaching to people? Jesus was out there, winning souls, transforming lives, feeding the needy, feeding the hungry. You see, what you get out of your calling matters, rather than holding the microphone or praying in tongues.
Wow. Very, very powerful. Maybe this is just some random ones. How do you balance ministry responsibilities with personal and family life? This is a question from somebody. How do you balance ministry responsibilities with personal and family life?
It is not easy.
Yeah.
It is not easy. Being a man of God, especially a prophet, is not easy. Sometimes my wife can cook and say that, come and eat. Yes, I said, cook for me, I want to eat. But when I was in my prayer, God tells me, you need to spend more time with me. How will I eat? And I need to have time with God. Sometimes I need to take my family out. But I remember very well, you need to spend time with God, because what you're going to handle is not something small. Remember, let me tell you something. When you're praying for a sick man or a demon-possessed man, you can never go there and pamper them. You need to be so radical. You need to be so violent for you to cast them out. You can never go there and say, demon out. Never. You need to be powerful. And that power, you cannot gain it by just sitting down or going to any KFC, taking some chicken and eat. You need to go into your secret place. Find power. Power is found at the secret place, not at the crowded place. Jesus, when he needed power, he used to go alone at his secret place to pray. During the day, he could be with people, but at night, alone, praying. Even when during the time of transfiguration, when he took the 3 disciples, John, Peter, and James, he left them and went to pray again by himself. These people were sleeping. So you see what I'm telling you? You need to understand. But one thing I need to tell you is, God will never tell you, God is a jealousy God. God can never tell you, go and love your wife. God says, love me always. With all your possession. What does that mean? With your wife, your wealth, your children, everything that you have. Love God. Has God reminded you, go and love your wife? Now you need to balance. Because your number one ministry is your family. If you, for instance, me, if I'm going to preach to people, I'm telling them that God is going to bless your marriage. How will I tell people that God is going to bless your marriage, yet my marriage is falling? You can never give out what you don't have. You always give what you have. If you don't have the healing in you, you can never give healing. I can never tell that God is going to heal you. I want to pray for you to be healed. And yet my family is sick. Medicines are all over my shelves. No. If I'm speaking health, my family has to be healthy. You see what I'm saying? If you want me to bless you with finances, I cannot say that God is going to give you finances, yet I'm struggling financially. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I get you.
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe as you wind up, this is on the advices and reflection. You'll address through this camera.
Okay.
Yes. What advice will you give to someone considering ministry? Somebody has just received a calling, is thinking of how to follow his ministry's calling. What advice will you give them?
Number one advice that I would have: if you have a calling, always follow the calling and the hand of God. Sometimes we have callings, but we don't receive them. What am I saying? Anytime you have a calling and you fail to get that calling or to fulfill it, you'll be in trouble with God. I remember very well when I had a calling and I refused to, I was not able. I said that I cannot be a pastor. I almost died. God will always make you follow what He wants you to do. And for me to advise you that you have a calling, remember, many are called, few are chosen. Are you among the few chosen, or you are among the many who are called?
Wow.
That's the question you need to answer yourself.
Wow, very powerful. Maybe another one.
Yes.
What do you believe is the greatest need in the church today? What is the greatest need that is lacking in the church?
There's a lot. You know, church of nowadays, people don't respect God. There is that spirit of familiarism. People are so familiar. They're so familiar with God. You know, anytime you get yourself to be so familiar with God, why do I say that people are so familiar with God? You need to pray against the spirit of familiarity or familiarism with God or any man of God. You know, nowadays we have reached a time where people just point fingers or call God other names. For instance, if we have something to do in the church, you can never do that in church. But if you have something to do in the club, you'll even break your bank account and do it in a club. But anytime you come sick, you'll go to that man of God that you failed to support, raise the church for prayers. So it means you are so familiar with God that you don't respect Him. Respect of God is so much important. And God is not God that you hear. God is me. God is you. If I don't respect you, I don't respect God. He created you in His own image. So if I see you, I see God. If I love you, I love God. If I hate you, I hate God. I cannot say that I love God, yet I treat you, I molest you, I deny you food, I deny you everything.
Very powerful. One last question. I'm really receiving a lot of questions here, but you'll bear with me. Today that has been for us. Maybe that's one last question.
Okay.
What scripture or life principle has guided you throughout your ministry?
Matthew 21 verses 22. The Bible clearly says, whatsoever you ask for in prayers while believing, so shall you receive it. It has guided me. I knew very well if I pray and ask God for anything, I will receive. And it has really helped me. I remember the time I used to pray and I never knew anything. So when I came across this verse that has helped me like 4 years, I've been reading that verse. Imagine praying for one verse, praying with one verse for 4 years. Every prayer that you make, you ask God, change my life, change my family, change everything about me. And God really changed. So anything that is in the scripture is about life. Yeah.
And by the way, who is the CEO and director of Radiant Television? Yes,
And
so
studios.
you can and studios, so you can see that this television is blessed to be managed by a prophet of God, an apostle of God. Yeah.
Again, just to add on it,
Okay.
you can follow me, you can like me on TikTok at Apostle Frank. Apostle Frank. You'll just get me Apostle Frank, you get me. And if you want to have a prayer line, the number is just there on your screen. The number is just there on the screen, all over the world.
That has been it. That has been Radiant TV. We really appreciate you joining us. Kindly subscribe to the channel, leave your like, comment. We'll be having more sessions like this, more powerful sermons from the man of God, Apostle Frank. Yeah, that has been it for today. Kindly subscribe, share. See you on the next video.